What's up, guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm Zoe Wolff, and today we're going to talk about visiting your airmen during weekends in tech school. Tech school is kind of a tricky subject. They're so different depending on where you are, who your leadership is, that it's really hard to make blanket statements about, visiting on weekends or rules and regulations, because while there are Air Force-wide policies, there are also things that are very weirdly specific to each individual base or each individual school itself. So I'm going to go kind of off the general Air Force stuff, and then I will also talk a little bit about specifically Jeremy's tech school for anyone who's going to be going photojournalism or broadcast journalism, which all falls under public affairs and will be at DINFOS, or the Defense Information School. The Defense Information School at Fort Meade in Maryland. So if you are planning on visiting your airmen during tech school, keep in mind that at the very beginning they are in what is called the initial training phase, or ITP, and this can last anywhere from like 2 weeks to 4 weeks. I believe there is a policy that says it can't be more than 30 days. But I could be wrong on that. That could be base specific. I'm not 100% sure. So if I am wrong, please feel free to let me know in the comment section. But I believe it is no more than 30 days. In order to phase out of ITP, your airman needs to pass 2 open ranks inspections, which is like a uniform inspection, and 2 room inspections, I believe. Keep in mind that just because they leave for tech school the Monday after Airman's Week, that does not mean that they start tech school that Monday or even the next Monday. For Jeremy specifically, he got there Monday, February 15th, and he did not start school until early March. He had phased up into ATP, or the advanced training phase, by that point, before he even started classes. But that period of time was spent a little bit differently than it would be later on. So that comes into play when you're calculating, how many days or months or weeks or whatever he or she will be there, but it also comes into play with when to visit. So like I said, when they first get there, they'll be in the initial training phase, or ATP, and what happens during that time is they can't wear civilian clothes outside their dorm. So when they're in their dorm, they can wear whatever they want, but outside their dorm, they have to be in uniform, and they can't leave base. They have curfew no matter what, but it's just, that's kind of the general things. They can't leave base, they can't stay overnight anywhere, they have to be in uniform at all times. So once they reach ATP, they can then go off base in their free time, weekends or evenings. They can obtain a 29B, which we've talked about before, or hotel waiver to stay off base or in a hotel if you are there to visit. That's, again, once they reach ATP, which in the future I do plan to do more detailed videos on everything about ITP and ATP. So definitely look out for those soon. I did kind of do a kind of basic video on it a while back, which I will link up here. But so when you are planning, so let's use Jeremy's tech school for an example, or his tech school timeline. Like I said, he finished Airman's Week and left for tech school got to tech school on Monday, February 15th. That whole week was in processing, briefings, things like that. He spent the next, I believe, 3 or 4, I think it was 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks he spent shoveling snow, cleaning, doing what they call details, all kinds of different little tasks here and there. And those, he's on kind of, even though he had reached ATP, I believe by that last week of details, it was still kind of, they're watched a little more closely. And so you kind of have to keep in mind, I would not visit during that time. I wouldn't visit for sure when they're still in ITP, but I also wouldn't visit before they've started classes, because it's still a little bit stricter. It's still kind of more BMT-ish. At least it was at Jeremy's base. I can't speak for every base. It may be different. I know his MTLs were a little bit stricter than they might be at some other bases. And as far as I know, those MTLs are still at Fort Meade. So if your spouse is going to be there or is there, they're probably the same people. Once they reach ATP, because I kind of covered a lot of this in my 29B video, which is linked up here. And in that video, I talked a little bit about, what your airman will need in order to stay with you or to go further off base with you. But if you do plan to just visit for a weekend, keep in mind they may not be able to get a 29B. It depends on a lot of different things. So they may not be able to stay overnight with you. They will be able to leave base, but most bases, it's a 25-mile radius from the base while they're in tech school. They can't go more than 25 miles away. For us, that was like the center of Washington, D.C. was exactly 25 miles. So like we could go to DC, but then it got a little blurry about like, can he go to like Arlington or the Lincoln Memorial, because those were kind of just outside the 25-mile range, and it gets a little muddy. So you have to kind of keep that in mind, that if you are gonna kind of be borderline, be careful. If you don't live too far and you just want to go up on a Saturday and hang out, that's great. We spent a lot of our weekends hanging out at the mall. There was actually surprisingly a lot to do at the mall, but we mostly saw movies, went to Dave & Buster's, things like that, and it was fun. And that's kind of how we spent a lot of our time on the weekends during tech school. Remember that maybe if you plan to go for a weekend and then he or she gets in trouble, they may have to do details or work a CQ shift or something. They might not be able to leave the base. So there are a lot of things. They do still kind of keep a very close eye on your airmen during tech school. They still have a curfew. So there's a lot to keep in mind. So, I would, if you're going to fly, I'd book refundable tickets just in case you get to that weekend and all of a sudden you're not going to be able to see them. I know within the last month that I was there at his tech school, he got in trouble for something real dumb, and he got 3 of those weekends taken away. So I was there for a month, and I was only going to get to see him for one more weekend in that month, which really kind of sucked. And it's just you have to kind of learn to be flexible, learn to roll with it, and keep in mind that things might not necessarily go the way you want them to. He might not get to stay overnight at your hotel, or he might end up having to do flag detail in the morning and in the evening, or he might have to go do something. You might have to stay on base the whole weekend or close to base, or there's just a lot of little things that could come into play, that they are still in training, they are still learning, they're still kind of being closely watched. And it's unfortunate, but it's the reality of the situation. So just keep those things in mind. I always feel really bad making videos like this because I feel like I'm giving you guys a lot of really negative information, and I don't do that to kind of put a downer on your day or your plans or whatever, but I want you guys to stay realistic. It's really easy to get excited and go, I'm gonna go visit him this weekend, yay! And everything may work out perfectly and it may be the best weekend ever, but keep in mind that it might not be. Things might not go your way, and it could be a disaster. But either way, you are getting to see him at least a little bit maybe. But I just think that unless you live really close, I would be kind of hesitant to make that trip, because a lot can go wrong. If you're not already living there or you live close by, I would be careful about weekend visits during tech school, just because issues can happen. So just keep realistic expectations, and hopefully everything goes well on your visits. I'm excited that you guys are going to go get to see your spouses, and I hope, like I said, I hope everything goes really great for you when you do that, or if you do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel for more daily videos, and I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Bye.